My name is Zoe Radnor. I am Vice President of Strategy and Planning, Equality, Diversity and Inclusion, and I'm also Professor of Service Operations Management in the Business School at City University of London. I participated in the Reciprocal Mentoring Scheme because I set it up with Kavita Powley, the Race Equality Charter Manager. We came up with the idea together and felt it was important to have a reciprocal mentoring scheme rather than a reverse mentoring scheme. And we set it up because we felt it was really, really important that senior leaders in universities understood the lived experience of BAME staff, people of colour at City University of London. But also it was really important that staff members understood the complexities of senior leadership in higher education institutions today. I hoped what I would get from the scheme is an understanding of the challenges of the working environment for BAME staff and colleagues at City University of London. Because in my role as Vice President Equality, Diversity and Inclusion, I can then support and create programmes of action and work to ensure that we tackle racism and racial inequalities in the university. And for me, that was the reason why I got involved in the scheme. My mentor was brilliant. She was open, she was honest, she was authentic, and importantly, she was trustworthy. I really enjoyed our discussions and we discussed things across a range of topics. She was absolutely great. We had really, really good discussions. From my mentor, I learned that it's important to create an environment of tolerance and respect in the workplace. That should be the case for all staff and all students, whatever their ethnic background. I also learned it's important to recognise the different voices and not to group people together into different ethnic groupings. But we need to recognise the different voices in our community, particularly in our BAME community. And it was also too important to remember that there can be challenges and conflicts within the communities as well. So we talked about some quite important issues regarding how important it was to understand those different sets of voices within different ethnic communities and outside the ethnic communities. What I enjoyed was actually sharing stories and experiences, finding that common ground. So one of the things we talked about a lot was work-life balance. We were both parents and we also recognised that our personal environments both influenced and strengthened our capabilities and abilities in the workplace. So we found common ground and we talked about a range of different topics, but it was about understanding how our external environment influences our workplace as well. So I would absolutely recommend the scheme to others. Having set it up, I think I've got a lot of passion for the scheme. I think it's really, really important. What I think is really important is that all white senior leaders in universities today should take part in a reciprocal mentoring scheme. That it's really important that when you're part of a large organisation, you understand those lived experiences of all your staff and colleagues. And in the current environment, it's particularly important that we understand the lived experiences of our BAME colleagues, of the people of colour within our institutions today. My piece of advice for future staff embarking on this scheme is taken from a playwright that I particularly admire, which is "To thy own self be true." So in other words, be open-minded, be authentic, and most importantly, be honest. You only get out of this scheme what you put into it. So you need to put your whole self into it in order to get something from it, and you will.